Biles is literally becoming a boss right in front of our eyes. I'm going to talk to you about how she is becoming a boss and will probably never compete for another Olympic gold medal ever again. And I'll talk about it after the bumper. It's good people. Jeff Lightsy Jr. here with the Black Boss Channel and Victory Formation. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell because we upload every single day. And don't forget to join us October 29th through November 1st at the All Black National Convention down in Orlando, Florida. Get your tickets now. I'll be there. A bunch of people will be there. So, Simone Biles, she has announced that she will go on a 35 city tour. Her and some other gymnastic friends will go along teaching gymnastics, doing some really cool stuff. And she has declared that she will no longer ever be a part of the U.S. gymnastics team after what they did, the cover up and the horrible job they did with the former U.S. gymnastics team doctor, Larry Nassar, who sexually assaulted hundreds of women over decades. Right? Over decades, over years and years, he sexually assaulted hundreds of women, including Biles, multiple times. Now, we'll get into that. We'll also get into how Simone Biles is finally becoming her own boss and leveraging her name into profit, right? What enough black athletes do not do. They allow their teams to be owned by these teams and not to make money off their own name, right? Like not to capitalize and be smart about their monies. Now, I'm going to talk to you about Simone Biles and why all of this took place. And I hate that it came to this. I hate that. And not to say that she wouldn't have been able to do this, which is become her own boss and make her own money outside of U.S. gymnastics, even without the sexual assault. But it seems like the sexual assault and that aspect kind of propelled Simone into this kind of business venture and be this kind of boss and this kind of, not going through U.S. gymnastics, but to actually make her own money. So let me break some of this down. I'm reading some of this article from Yahoo Sports. It says, for years now, Simone Biles has made it clear her understandable disdain and distrust of USA Gymnastics. She called for the organization to be independently investigated after former team doctor Larry Nassar sexually abused her and hundreds of other gymnasts. It's just so sad. Quote, I don't want another young gymnast, Olympic athlete, or any individual to experience the horror, Biles said last week at a Senate Judiciary Committee meeting. So for those of you who don't know, Biles and a number of other U.S. women gymnastics Olympians who competed for the USA women's gymnastics team testified at Congress, basically trying to figure out how in the hell the U.S. gymnastic leadership didn't know that their team doctor, was sexually assaulting these women, these young ladies. I mean, these very, very young ladies, some of them minors, for years, for decades, and nobody knew. And people were covering it up and all kinds of just crazy stuff, right? So they were trying to figure that out on Congress, but hell, the damage is done and Larry Nassar is going to die in prison, but it is what it is. And so now Biles is using her name and using her status to make her own money outside of USA Gymnastics. This is Biles with her 32 Olympic and World Championship medals. It is just a voice. He said, at least, and so she received a call from Valerie Kunos Fields. Basically, it says Simone is going to do this tour, and she was only going to do this tour if USA Gymnastics wasn't involved. And so now, not only is Simone Biles making sure she gets all her bread and not going through third parties, she's costing USA Gymnastics a ton of money. USA Gymnastics actually filed for bankruptcy in 2018 because they have to pay out $425 million to the victims of Larry Nassar. Because you got to remember, this happened over the course of decades, and there was hundreds of women that he sexually assaulted while he was the team doctor of the USA Gymnastics, and these people knew about it. It wasn't like it was a secret. First of all, you can't keep something a secret for decades when you've done it to hundreds of young women, right? This is how bad it got. And then I'm gonna talk about Simone Biles being her own boss. But I'm gonna tell you a little bit about Larry Nassar and what took place. Basically, he's the team doctor, and he sexually assaulted these women at all different kinds of places. But according to Yahoo Sports, so I'm going to put my according to, Biles said she was a repeat victim of Nassar during a national team training camp staged at the Carioli Ranch in Texas, which is owned by former USA team coordinators Marta and Bella Carioli. Nassar serving a life sentence. The Cariolis are retired. Listen to this. This is how you know all these people were in on it. The Cariolis are now retired, but they'll probably face some legal action here soon. Two former prominent coaches. Listen to this. Two former prominent coaches on the U.S. gymnastics team committed suicide rather than face their own legal issues. Perhaps every last employee of the USA Gymnastics at the time has been replaced, and former CEO Steve Penny is awaiting trial for allegedly, listen to this, removing Nassar's related documents from the Carioli Ranch. So these women, these young ladies, were reporting that this sicko was doing things to them, and people knew about it. It was so bad, instead of going to jail and knowing that they were wrong, two of the people done killed themselves, and the other dude literally had documents, had files that these young ladies like Simone Biles and hundreds of others were reporting that, like this doctor is touching on me in ways he shouldn't be touching on me. This doctor is doing things to me in ways he shouldn't be doing things to me. And this sicko, Steve Penny, allegedly removed the documents from the file. He got rid of the documents. He destroyed them. He got rid of them from the ranch. If there was tape, he destroyed the tape. Allegedly. That is sick. That is sick. And so that is why Simone Biles wants nothing to do with USA Gymnastics. And that is why she is going to be a very rich lady without them. Make a whole lot more money now without them, and with all the accomplishments that she has doing things like this. So on Tuesday, the Gold Over America Tour starring Simone Biles kicks off a 35-city national run. It's an abbreviation of GOAT, which is a nod to Biles' nickname, the greatest of all time. It will feature Biles plus Olympians Jade Carey, Jordan Childs, and Michaela Skinner and Lori Hernandez, as well as UCLA star Caitlin O'Shani and others. Each will be paid to participate as in the past. The tour concept isn't new to USA Gymnastics. As they profited off these type of tours. USA Gymnastics has profited off these type of tours for years. It's the ownership that is different. A partnership between Biles and two productions and touring companies. They control all ticket, merchandise, and sponsorship revenue. USA Gymnastics is not involved and won't attempt to compete. Why won't they attempt to compete? Because they would lose. They would lose even more money. They've already filed for bankruptcy, and they can't compete with Simone Biles. See, here's the thing, and this is why I love this so much, not only for Simone Biles, but it sets a precedent for future athletes moving forward. You, in a lot of cases, especially in individual sports, you are bigger than the sport. Let's be honest. Simone Biles is bigger than USA Gymnastics. Name me, other than them girls I just named, other than the ones, because hell, I didn't even know them. I couldn't tell you another single person on USA Gymnastics team. I couldn't name one. Besides the names I just read, I couldn't name another one. Why? Because Simone Biles, to me, and to most people in America and most people around the world, Simone Biles is USA Gymnastics. Simone Biles is USA Gymnastics. USA Gymnastics is only known for two things. Simone, at least in my brain, just correct me if I'm wrong. Simone Biles and this sicko Larry Nassar. The sicko Larry Nassar that sexually assaulted hundreds of women over the course of decades. That's it. That's all USA Gymnastics is known for. And so I'm saying that to say this. Simone Biles, and I hate that it took this to at least catapult her to do something like this. It took this disgusting act of sexual assault. But the fact that she is now realizing she is bigger than the USA Gymnastics team. So now she will profit way more by selling her own merch, by doing her own tours, by selling her own, controlling her own ticket revenue, etc., etc. She will benefit and she will profit way more. She has broken the chains of US Gymnastics. She has gotten off the corporate plantation, which is USA Gymnastics, because she's bigger than USA Gymnastics. She has 32 Olympic and World Championship medals, most of them gold. Out of the 32, I'd imagine at least 16 of them gold. I think it's closer to like 20. 20 are gold. She is the best to ever do it. Just like Serena Williams is bigger than tennis. She's bigger than the sport of tennis. Serena Williams is. Tiger Woods was bigger than the PGA. At his peak, he was bigger than the PGA. And he figured it out. Yo, I can capitalize. Now, he did a lot of other crazy stuff, but he figured out I can capitalize off being my own boss and making my own bread than going through them to make money, to make ends meet. Simone Biles is figuring this out. And more athletes, especially the black athletes in individual sports, are realizing they are bigger than the sport in a lot of times. In most cases, they are bigger than the sport. When they've reached now you got to reach a certain level of success. You have to be the top doggity dog. But Simone Biles is that person. And Simone Biles will make way more money, will have way more peace and tranquility by doing this than she ever would have by being on the corporate plantation, which is the US Gymnastics team. I'm happy for Simone. I'm happy that she has figured out that she is the GOAT, that she can do this, that she will have a level of financial freedom she would have never had under the chains that is US Gymnastics. Will she have made some money? Absolutely. She's the best to ever do it. Of course she would have made some money. But now she is her own boss. Now she has economic freedom. Now she calls her own shots. Now she don't have to do with sickos like Larry Nassar. Now she don't have to do with these sick people that allowed this thing to happen to her and hundreds of other women for years. For years, not for days on days, for decades. A decade is 10 years, guys. Larry Nassar was sexually assaulting Simone Biles and these other gymnasts, hundreds of them. Like not just 5, 10, 50. We're talking 100, 200, 300 women, young women, some of them minors. Some of them under the age of 18, minors. So children. Yeah, man, I'm happy for Simone Biles. Simone Biles she's a boss, man. She left Nike and did her own partnership with Athena. She's now doing her own partnership and selling out tours with starring her name. It's like when an artist, as far as like a music recording artist, decides, what the hell do I need a record label for? I am the prize. They getting all the money, but I am what the people are coming to see. I am what the people want to listen to. I am the show. These people ain't doing nothing for me. Like at the end of the day, they throwing a little money at promotion. I promote myself when I go out there and perform, and I'm the best at doing it. Very few artists have figured that out in the music industry. Simone Biles on the athletic front has figured it out. People aren't coming to see USA Gymnastics. People are coming to see Simone Biles. I can't name you another gymnast. I can't. And so now she's figured it out. She will capitalize on that. She's her own boss. And I'm just so proud. I'm so happy that she's able to do this. Because not only financially will this make her free and allow her to have gains that she would have never, ever saw ever, right? But also her peace and tranquility. She never has to put on that uniform that represents those people that allowed her to get sexually assaulted by a man for years. And they knew about it. They knew about it. And they did nothing. Did absolutely nothing. So congratulations to Simone Biles, man. We need more athletes. And if Simone ever hears this, I'd love for her to come on the show. I'd love for her to come on and talk about what she's doing with the Gold Over America tour starring Simone Biles, and to talk about being her own boss, and to talk about, some of the great things she has going moving forward, because that's amazing. And, I'm always rooting for the black woman, the black man, B1, we B1 everything over here. And this is the start. And I hope she inspires other athletes to make, you don't have to go through that third party down, man. With the age of the internet, and especially when you're so accomplished like she is, like you're the best at what you do, or one of the best at what you do, you don't need them no more, man. We don't need them anymore. We are our own celebrities. We create our celebrities. We are the culture. We decide what's dope and what's hot and what's cool and what's the best. And Simone goes out there and proves it every single time she hits the stage that she's the best and the best to ever do it. And it's probably why she was uninspired at the Olympics this past year. Everybody was like, oh, why is Simone like skipping out on things? And why is her anxiety messing with her and all this stuff? Man, it's because she was put on a uniform that represented those sickos that allowed that stuff to happen to her and hundreds of other women. Yeah, you'd be messed up too. If you knew you had to wear, think about this. You're sexually assaulted or something really, really bad happens to you, right? Something really, really bad happens to you. And you have to go out there because you're contractually obligated. That was the thing. I left that part out. Simone was contractually obligated to perform at the Olympics and to perform for USA Gymnastics. She was contractually obligated this past Olympics and up until now, right? And so she had to go out there and put on that uniform and represent a team and represent an organization and represent an institution that allowed these sick, horrific things to happen to her. And you mean to tell me you don't know why she's messed up? You mean to tell me you don't understand why she's not doing these events? Her mental was messed up. Imagine something tragic happening to you and you have to go out there and relive it for months at a time, not just for days. When you're at the Olympics, they were there, what, a month? You have to relive it over and over. And then people being pissed at you because you don't want to relive it because you feel some type of way about it. That's what happened with Simone. Simone wearing the USA Gymnastics, the same place that allowed her and covered up the sexual assault of not just her, but hundreds of women, had to go put that uniform on and go represent and be smiling and happy and like everything is all great, knowing that these people who are coaching her, these people that are running this organization, these people that allowed that stuff to happen to her, and she's out there making them money, out there trying to make them rich, out there trying to be a great representation of them. Hell no. To hell with y'all. To hell with y'all. So I wasn't mad at Simone at all. I wasn't mad at Simone at all. And I'm so happy that she's able to do this now. I'm so happy that she realizes, man, I am bigger than USA Gymnastics. Simone Biles, Simone Biles is Simone Biles. She's big. She's the greatest gymnast in the history of the world, period, point blank. Ain't no debate. She's 24 years old. And she'll never have to put on that jersey ever again because she's already the most accomplished and the greatest ever. And I'm glad she is capitalizing off her name, image, and likeness, of her status, of her accomplishments. To hell with USA Gymnastics and everything that they stand for. And that's what I got to say. Once again, I'm Jeff Lightsy Jr. with the Black Boss Channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. For my Facebook folks, I'm Jeff Lightsy Sports on Facebook. You can meet us October 29th through November 1st at the All Black National Convention. That's October 29th through November 1st at the All Black National Convention. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.